So for those of you that are new, we have a book that's absolutely stunning, and it's what we kind of call the Bible of skills for all of us. It's GoPro 7 Steps to Becoming a Network Marketing Professional. You can actually get a free copy if you go on to networkmarketingprofessional.com. I think that's where you go. And the only thing you have to pay for is freight, and they send you a book. Also, to listen to it via CD in your car is awesome because you can turn it off and on whenever you want when you're driving. What I love about this book is there are only 7 skills. So the idea is that mastering, there's not a lot of skills, mastering them takes some time. And so this has just been a tremendous boost to all of us in our business. And right now we're on skill number 3. So skill number 1, for those of you that are coming in at this point in time, is putting your prospect list together, your memory jogger, writing down everybody you know. We do that specifically so that you can get the names out of your head onto paper so more names come into mind. It's really a great way to stimulate your brain to think of more people. So that's number 1. We put a list together. Skill number 2 is learning how to invite. That has a lot to do with skill number 3, which is presenting, and we're going to do that tonight. Skill number 3 is, well, the skill number 2, inviting, is the whole idea, and I will just condense it into a few words. Some of you heard it this weekend at the regional, but it's, hey, Carrie, I was thinking about you the other day because you had mentioned to me that you were suffering from lots of aches and pains and joint stuff, and you'd been really trying for a long time to lose weight and nothing was happening. Is that still what's going on for you? Pretend we're back years later.
Yes, totally. It's hard to even get up in the morning.
Hard to even get up in the morning out of bed. You know, I've experienced something with some plant powders, and what it's done for me has been amazing. I've had more energy. I've seen my kids get sick less often. Oh boy, get sick less often. I've also seen some periodontal issues completely clear up for me. All that's inflammation. I don't know, key sentence, I don't know what it's going to do for you, but for my family, it's been amazing. Would you be open and take a look at a video and see if this might be something that could make a difference for you?
I would totally love to look at a video.
So you just heard me do an invitation. I thought of you because I let Carrie answer that question. I just didn't state it for her. I asked if that was still going on to tell me a little bit more. I told her my experience. I let her know that I wasn't sure what it was going to do for her because, as you know, we never know what Juice Plus is going to do. And the last is, if I were to send you a short video, would you be open? So that's skill number 2. Skill number 3 is presenting. And the funny thing about skill number 3, which is presenting, is we really don't present. What do we do? For those of you that have been on the call a long time, and yeah, if you notice Michelle and Carrie, they're both going like this. I don't know if you can see that. They're zipping it. So the whole idea is, a lot of us could be experts. I could talk to somebody for 72 hours about Juice Plus, but that's not efficient of my time, and it's not a good way to teach somebody how to do our business. The best thing for me to do when it's directly from me to my potential person that I could be attracting as a new customer to Carrie is to let her see videos and not have me be the expert. Who can tell why that's important? Why is that absolutely key? That I'm not the expert to my person. I can be the expert to somebody else's person, but not directly to Carrie, who I'm talking to. Why is that? Anybody, raise your hand and let me know you're talking. Michelle, tell us why that makes sense.
Because that's more duplicatable, where someone can see that, oh gosh, all I have to do is send a video, I can do that.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So this weekend, we had a regional, and our theme to our regional is I can and I will. So if I spent an hour and a half talking to Michelle about every little thing about Juice Plus, and then I invited Michelle to be a partner with me in this mission, what would be the likelihood of what she would say?
No.
I can't do what you did. If I hand her a video and let the video do the work, the most important part of our business is not what works, which is true in other businesses. What works is what you do. In our business, it's what duplicates. What works doesn't make our business work. It's what duplicates. This is a business of duplication. So if I want to impact 100 people, I want to have an army with me to help me do that because I can't impact 100 people by myself. So I'm going to attract Michelle to my team and Carrie and Regina, and that's how it's going to expand my business. So tonight what we're working on is how to tell your story. Last week we did how you tell your product story. This week we're going to do the combination of how to tell your business and your product story. So for those of you who weren't on the call last week, what it looks like is the struggle or pain or challenge you had before being introduced to Juice Plus, before being introduced to this business, all of that before, what you saw in this. What do you see in this for yourself? For example, Carrie, how many years, Carrie?
Of what? Being on
Juice Plus.
8 years.
8 years. So before this, Carrie had a real struggle. She was dealing with weight. She was dealing with, for those of you, in fact, you know what, Carrie? I would love for you to go first because there's some new people on here that would be delighted to hear the kind of story that you have. And again, Carrie, we're looking for both product, segue into business, but in both sections, it's and they can be intertwined. But what was the pain or struggle before? What did you see in Juice Plus in this mission? What has it done for you? What are you hoping it will do? And then, of course, inviting somebody to look. So, Michelle Aluski, do you have your phone with you by any chance?
Yes.
And you're not on your phone, right?
No.
Right. Would you be willing to time Carrie? Because we want it somewhere around 2 minutes. 3 minutes is okay, but definitely 2 minutes is great. And then, Michelle, if you'll just kind of wave your hand a little bit when you get to 1.5 minutes, just so that Carrie sees how long it takes. It doesn't mean you have to stop, Carrie. It just gives you an idea of how long time feels. So, are you ready, you two?
Sure.
All right. We're going to hear your story.
Okay.
He's so cute.
Well, as a single mom for a lot of years, I thought I was doing everything right. And it was obviously, I was not doing everything right. Because over time, what was happening is I was taking care of everyone else, but I was not taking care of me. So I was at an unhealthy weight. I lost my energy. I was getting sick every winter. My dental health was bad. And by the time I was introduced to flooding my body with these plant powders, I was really desperate. But over time, taking these plant powders every single day, what ended up happening is I got my energy back. I got to a healthier weight. I wasn't sick anymore. My skin cleared up. My dental health got better. I just felt like I was given this gift. But the one thing I didn't have a handle on was the stress on my job. And that was really starting to affect my health again. And I realized it was in the middle of the mortgage crisis and I was working for the financial industry business. And I realized that I didn't have a plan B. So I started looking for a plan B and I went to the company behind the product that gave me my health back. And what I found was that there was no income ceiling, which I'd already hit in the corporate world. And I could do it where I wanted, when I wanted, with whoever I wanted. And I wanted my freedom back in the worst way. I was tired of working 60 hours a week. And so I decided to join this mission. And what it's done for me is allowed me to spend as much time as I want with my grandkids. I travel whenever I want. I love what I do. I feel awesome. And I don't know if this is something that you might be open to, but if I sent you a video, would you be willing to watch it?
Great. So first question, Michelle, how long did she take?
1:43.
Okay, great. So she gave a lot of information in 1:43. What I want to hear from all of you, what you noticed, what were some emotional triggers, because here's the thing. You're going to all be learning how to tell a story, but for example, Deborah, your job is going to be to learn how to help Taylor tell her story, so that when you listen to Taylor's story, you're going to start to learn how to see a story in a little bit different way. And this helps. This is going to help all those people that have team that want to help their team tell their story the best way. Clearly, it's going to help yourself. So number one, just a couple things that I noticed that I really loved is she planted the seed at the very beginning of when she said, I take my juice, when I started taking it every day. That's a little seed for your prospect to realize you got to do it every day. So that's one thing that I noticed. Another thing that I noticed was that she said the sickness from stress. Who can't relate to stress from business, from family, from our lives? So noticing that helped her with stress, that's very generic. One thing but before I get to another point, I'd like to hear from any of you that maybe noticed something that you did like, or maybe you noticed something that could have been even more powerful for her. So is there anybody willing to share what they noticed?
I just noticed towards as the more she told it and she got to the end, it was like her passion grew. That was kind of fun to see, and it just really kind of kept you engaged on the entire time. So I really loved how her passion just grew, especially towards the end.
And here's the key for that. That's so important because the energy that we bring to the situation is the energy that could shift everything. And so for some of you that may have a little bit more reserved and you're not all there, oh, like I can be and whatever, and you're thinking, I can't do this business because I don't express myself so openly or so loud or whatever. But just giving yourself another permission for another 10%, just another 10% of your energy when you're in the conversation around what your passion is. In other words, let your passion show. Let it show. Yeah, Sheila. I think you're muted, Sheila. Hang on. I unmuted you. I got it, Sheila.
Cool, because I can't.
Okay, I got you.
The other thing I think that came out with Carrie is that it's real. It's real life. I mean, it's stuff that we all experience, and Carrie expressed it very well.
So it felt really authentic to you.
Very much so.
Yeah, that's great. One of the things, Carrie, that I wished you had included, and I know you were concerned about time, but especially for those of you that don't know Carrie lost over 100 pounds doing the shred. 100 pounds. That's not even the best part. The best part, in my perception, this is just me, she got off 4 pharmaceuticals. She got off her cholesterol. She got off of her blood pressure medication. She got off of her Vicodin because she had arthritis and could barely get out of bed in the morning, and the pain went away. And the 4th one was metformin, which is pre-diabetic, whatever.
Right.
So even though you could be talking to somebody that doesn't have those things, and maybe you're talking to somebody that's super, super healthy, and they may think, well, I'm not on any of those drugs, I don't need this. I just think that story is quite powerful, and I'm always, every time she tells that story, it's like my mouth drops open for what this has done for her and how she could make that generic. So let's say she said all that, and it's to a person that already eats healthy, doesn't need to lose weight, and might not be in any pain. How could she translate that into being a little bit more generic? Carrie, any ideas?
Well, I purposely left it out because I had a concern, like when I'm talking with people, just that very thing, like if they're not on pharmaceuticals, then that they may not relate to that. So that's why I switched it over to being unhealthy weight versus healthy weight.
Perfect.
Versus I lost 100 pounds.
So,
But yeah, so I don't know. Like I've kind of gone back and forth. You know my story, so I've gone back and forth.
Actually, Carrie, in a normal circumstance, when you don't know a person's background, I think the way you did it tonight was perfect.
Okay.
I wanted you to do it because there's new people on the call, and I wanted them to hear more stories. So I was selfish. But
okay.
quite honestly, if you don't know someone's background, being more generic rather than having this incredible story, it's almost too much. But if you're talking to somebody that you know, and that's why it's really important, if it's possible, before you start telling your story, you know a little bit about their story so you can redirect. Because your story can be true with all the details or less details. We don't totally change our story and say, I was a swimmer, and I couldn't swim anymore if you're not. I mean, we're not going to make up stories, but we can tell the parts of our stories that relate most to people. So I think you did a great job, and your timing was amazing.
Okay.
So any questions? Hey, Ed.
Hello.
Hey, Natalie. Nice to see you. Okay. All right. So who else would like to share their story that has not done one with us yet? And Regina, I know you volunteered a ton of times and your story is great, so I didn't want you to raise your hand yet because I know you are such a player, but I'd love to find somebody that maybe hasn't done it yet or done it recently who would like to share their story. Could be Michelle or Lisa or Linda, somebody who maybe hasn't told it in a while. Lori, who'd be open to remember. You're going to go back to what your struggle was. So remember, you heard Carrie talk about, pains and aches, and also stress of job. Those are all the befores. What happened to her since? It's allowed her time freedom and to travel and to be with her grandchildren. And remember that she closed it up with, if you're open, I would send you some information if any of this is resonating with you. So anybody, and I'm going to tell you, those people that step up are the ones that go the fastest in this business. So if you want to go slow, you don't have to step up. If you want to get a little faster and create more impact, you can take a big risk and jump in and do it all wrong, and we'll help you. It's the beauty of what we're doing here.
So are we doing business or product?
Combo, combination of business and product.
Business and product. Let me think about it for a moment,
Okay.
because it's been a long while.
Okay, Edward's chomping on it. Lori, Michelle.
Which Michelle?
Michelle on the phone. I think there was Michelle Michaels.
Okay.
You've done it, and we'll come back to you. But you're an old pro.
I'm fine. That's why I'm like, I'll do it, but there's plenty of others that.
No, and I love that you're here and listening. That's the other thing I want to compliment, really, Michelle and Carrie and those people that have been in this business for quite some time, who really could be teaching this course tonight, and they share and they teach me all the time, and yet they're still here. They're still here. Why is that, Michelle Igluski? Why is that?
Constantly learning. There's always a nugget. Every time I'm on, I get something, or it refreshes my memory of something I may have let go, right? Yeah.
Totally. It's about the stuff we forget and let go of half the time. Okay, anybody?
Okay, I'll wing it.
Okay, let's go. For those of you who don't know Edward, he's a chiropractor, and he's just a really great guy.
So I'm doing product and the business, right?
Yeah, combined, however that looks.
Okay, so about 2 years ago, I was noticing in my chiropractic practice that I was having to manage pain in my hands and wrists and elbows. And I was eating what I thought really well. And then somebody introduced me to these plant powders. And I thought it was a good thing for my patients. So I thought I better start on it because I might want to recommend it to them. And about 6 months to a year after that, I realized those pains in my hands and wrists and elbows were really dropping off. And when I recommended it to my patients who had inflammatory type problems, it was really starting to help them over time. So lo and behold, I found out there was a business associated with it also. And so long term, it has the potential to be really a retirement program for me in the next 2 or 3 years. I don't know if you'd be interested in either of those ideas, but if you'd like some information, I'd be happy to give it to you.
Great. All right, timing. Did you remember to time it, Michelle?
I did. 59 seconds. Nice job.
Which the cool thing is, which means that he could actually add a little more detail in if he wanted, right? So that was great. You hit all the basics, Edward. And, for anybody that knows me, I instantly see the things that could be tweaked. I'm going to start there because these are the easy ones. Just when you said, would you be interested? Keyword, would you be?
Interested or no? Would you be willing?
Would you be willing is a good one. Would you be open?
Would you be open?
This is like a key piece where people are I'm not really interested. Nobody doesn't want to be open for the most part. Would you be open? People like to consider themselves learners and curious and open. So it's a really important question. Would you be open and to watch a video if I sent it? So that's like a really minor piece. What else did you observe in listening to him that you think could be helpful for Edward, since we know he has more time?
I liked he was talking about his retirement and looking forward to this as something to help with retirement, and even just the casualness of, I don't know if this is for you. It just kind of made it very comfortable.
Great. So it was comfortable, it was relatable, retirement. Edward, what if you were talking to somebody who was in their early 20s? So what could you use instead of retirement that might appeal to them?
That it's going to give me more time at home and ability to work from wherever I want and travel.
So maybe even in your retirement, like what are the things that you're looking forward to in your retirement, Ed? What are the things that you'd love to be able to do?
Some of it be more specific travel activities with family
Yeah,
that I'm not able to do as often right now.
this is going to give me some other options. You can say instead of retiring, this is going to give me other options that would allow me less time as a chiropractor
Right.
and more time to travel, to spend with Hayden, to go camping, which we really love to do. Whatever that is, you just change the word retirement into more time freedom.
Right.
Right? And it still is completely true. And it would appeal more to a 20-something. Retirement is like so far off that they're not even hardly working yet, right?
Yeah.
So that's one thing. Anything else, again, that anybody noticed that they could offer to help Ed's story?
Nikki, with the words financial options, or like you're talking to a 20-year-old, like something about having more financial options
Yeah, or
versus
just
retirement.
yeah, even having more choices, because as we all know, it's not that money is the end all be all. We know that. But the more money you have, the more choices and options you have, whether those options are to travel or to play or to work, or whether they're to give money away. We love to say, make a lot of money and give a lot away. Those that are wealthy have more of an opportunity of doing good in the world and impacting than those who are barely making their ends meet. And a lot of people struggle with the concept of money because they feel either unworthy of making a lot, or somehow they've been raised with, you don't need a lot to be happy, which you don't. But isn't it incredible that if you've got a life that really works, that when you have money that you can actually give it away and be more philanthropic.
Mm-hmm.
So we are at the end of our time right now. Does anybody have any last minute questions? So what I would like to offer.
I do.
Okay, good. Who?
This is Lisa.
Okay, Lisa.
So I think where I struggle is the fact that where you're talking to people who've got success, who are doing, they've seen some success. So as you're just starting and not, you don't have a good success story yet, how would you go about it that way?
That's a great question. So if you don't have a story yet, it's what you hope for, what you're looking forward to. So my plan is that, my first goal is to create enough income to make a car payment, because my car is so junky, it's not safe for my kids to be in anymore. Whatever's true. My first idea is when I create enough income, I'm going to get a tutor for one of my kids. I can't really afford that yet. And I'm really excited about the prospects. So what are you hoping for?
Okay.
And you tell it honestly, because you're not there yet. And of course, everything has to be completely and totally true.
Right. Okay.
So that's the key. And then the final piece, there was one more thought that I had. I wanted to say this on thefreedomrevolution.com, when you click on the Getting Started tab, if you scroll down, not only there's there a video on telling your story, but there's several 1-minute audios that you can listen to that will help you capture what it is that would be helpful for you when you're telling your story. Okay? Cool. All right, everybody. Tomorrow night we have Christy Nix and Mariah Brown, and we are doing it on, I said it wrong on the call earlier, on women and 6-figure incomes. So it could be one that you want to invite people to, especially women. So everybody have a great evening, and we'll see you tomorrow night at 6 p.m. for the Heat Team call. Good night, everybody.